to turn people over to ICE. The 15-year-old victim of today's hit and run in Queens has been identified as Yohani Gomez Alvarez. Police have the driver and they say charges are pending. The bloody body of 16-year-old Yohani Gomez Alvarez lay on the corner of Bennett Street for hours as medical examiners and NYPD investigated. When folks in the area witnessed the tragedy in passing, like Sergio. It happened just after 4 a.m. when a 38-year-old man in a large SUV mowed Yohani and a 32-year-old woman down after a dispute. Police say he tried to get away but hit a parked car just around the corner. That's where he was arrested. Now, it's not clear if this was a DUI, but Mario says it wouldn't matter. Crime doesn't stop on Roosevelt Avenue.
Audio. I see the green light. Okay, so no good.
Amanda Alexander, 1010 wins on 92.3.
Hello, Mike. Good evening.
The city plans to expand sidewalks on a notoriously packed stretch of Canal Street that's crammed with bootleg vendors.
I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit.
Plan would extend the walkways on both sides.
I haven't done a live stream in about a week. Before that, I took a break over the summer.
It would also eliminate an eastbound
pretty much all of August and July.
While turning the triangle at Baxter Street
let me
into a pedestrian plaza.
I know we just
DOT data shows 26 people have been either killed or severely hurt on this street in just the last 5 years. The Manhattan School Board has undone a controversial resolution passed last year urging limits on trans girls.
Anyway, that's my FMDX web server.
Of the community education
you can tune that server if you want.
Have been ousted since that.
Right now it's just me in there.
Say that there's concern over
so
the
this
issue,
is Yonkers, New York.
For the most part, it was
this is the radio right here.
New member Aaron Carr says that past board members were
the CF 6686 radio connected online
to speak before the council, and they're crying.
Let me show you how it looks like.
Council members who just wouldn't even look at them. They're just looking at their phones, and I think that that's so disrespectful.
Let me stop it right here. Yeah, so this is FMDX web server. The URL for that, I'll put it right here. Let me put the URL in the chat. I'll put the server. Actually, you know what? I'll put the server's URL first. And then what you can do is you could go in there. There's tuners all over the world. They're all over the world. I'm in Yonkers, New York. So if you want to hear New York City radio, this is one of them. There's another one in New Jersey. Okay, I know what's going on. I'm charging my ring right here, please. Anyway, so I'm located in Yonkers, New York. I'll show you. Let me go. I'll show you here on the screen. Let me go to FM. Where's the FMDX? FMDX web server. FMDX server. I usually have it on my other computer, but I'll just go here real quick. I'll show you. So when you go to the web page, you're going to see this, right? fmdx.org. You see web servers on 342 web servers around the world right now. You click on this arrow. It's going to open up another tab. It's going to show you the map. Okay. All this right now, this camera doesn't focus very well. Of course, you can zoom in. Okay, I zoomed in too much. So over here is my server. I'm here in Danny Shortwave. I'm in Yonkers, New York. I'm right next to New York City. And you click on that, and it's going to open up this radio. Actually, what you do is let me go back. You click on that first, and it's going to pop open this window. This column. You're going to scroll down. In my case, it's right there. See, there's a connect button. I know this Zoom is horrible. Oh my God. Anyway, it says connect. You connect to that radio. And I'll show you. I just click on it, connect. It's going to open up my radio. There you go. And then you press play.
Sun out there, a high of 81
and you can tune right here with the arrow. Or you can type in the frequency.
Trump told Fox News yesterday that he'd be sending the National Guard there,
calling Memphis deeply
troubled. Today, the Pentagon
and mine, I have FM, medium wave, and shortwave.
To activate 1,000 Louisiana National Guard troops to help law enforcement.
However, right now, this is hooked up to a FM folded dipole. So medium wave, you're gonna get of course, the local stations. Shortwave's not gonna work too well. Only strong shortwave station I did have it hooked up with the MFJ 1886 loop for the last few days, but I disconnected it because I have my AirSpy right here. My AirSpy is right there. And that one, you have to go to the AirSpy network. AirSpy Discovery Network. And for that one, let me see if I can type it here. AirSpy the directory. There you go. AirSpy.com/directory. And then right there, I'm right here in Yonkers, New York. Click on that. Of course, everything's in my way here. That is my radio. Danny Shortwave, blah, 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 blah. Right now, nobody's connected to that radio. That one, you need SDR Sharp to connect. I have a video on my, one of my, about a month ago, I made the video. Go look at that video and it shows you how to connect to it. You have to download SDR Sharp. And what you do is, when you go to SDR Sharp, you're going to go down to, I have to show you the video. You don't need to have it. You don't need to have your own SDR. You can use my SDR, but you have to do a setting on it below. It's very simple. I just don't want to go over it right here. And then it's gonna bring up this map inside your SDR Sharp. It's gonna pop out a little window of this, and then you're gonna select all of them around the world. Of course, I'm here in Yonkers, New York, and it's green. That means it's available. You can just connect to it. See, I just closed that. See, all of these all over the world, including China, you can connect, including Russia. All over the world, you can connect to all these radios. SDR Sharp. This is the AirSpy network. Okay? So that I have two radios online. I have the SDR, the AirSpy HF Plus Discovery. It can have up to 3 people on that one, or the FMDX web server, which is this radio, the TF6686. However, that one, only one person tune at a time. Of course, there's it looks like there's a couple of people in the chat right now. I see. No, there's nobody in there. It's 2 people. Actually, it's me. I have 2 tabs open. Let me close the other tab, actually. Let me close this tab. So it's 1. So there's a chat in there. Actually, let me just type in my, let me just put my name in there because I am the admin. I'll just put Danny Shortwave. Put that in there. And then you can save my, and then there you go. And then I'll just say hello. Nobody's there right now, but I'll just say hello anyway. And there we go. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can connect. Excuse me. To very close to New York City. I'm only a couple of miles away from New York City, actually, like literally not even 3 miles away from New York City, from the Bronx. I'm a stone's throw away from New York City. So that's why I get all the New York City stations. And, you know, there are quite a few pirates here, especially on the lower part of the FM band. There's a couple of them, not that many. It's a few. It depends on what time of the day, on the weekend. Sometimes there's different pirates. The other day, actually, someone was in front of my house. I'm charging my Ring camera right now, so I can put it back outside. Actually, someone was in front of my house a week ago, and they were transmitting with they were using a hand-free, the hands-free device for their car. Well, in this case, it was a pickup. It was a Bluetooth to FM transmitter device. So I guess the guy forgot to hang up his phone, and me and a couple of people on the server. I guess he had an 88.3 megahertz, and they were talking for about an hour, just talking about my they were my neighbors. They were talking about, I guess, his landlord and all that. And then, of course, unfortunately, they started playing some, naughty naughty films, I guess, on their tablet or something. And you can hear the whole thing. He was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And all you hear is moaning and stuff. And, because they usually sit around. What they do is they usually, when they get out of work, they like to drink beer in front of my house. So they're inside their pickup drinking their Modelo, and sometimes they get drunk. And I guess he forgot to hang up the phone, and I was hearing the whole conversation on my radio right here. Not only I was hearing the conversation here, but it was broadcasting to anybody that was connected to the server. And it happened to be at 88.3. So, and of course, I never talk, because I don't talk to them. I don't talk to a couple of the neighbors. Like, I talk to some of them in the house, but I don't talk to those particular guys. And I would have told them. I said, by the way, the other day I heard you guys talking over the FM transmitter, including what you guys was watching. So, what are you gonna do? So of course, Chicopee was in there. Tasso was in there. We was all chatting, laughing about it. That's why I tell people, when you're gonna use FM transmitter with your phone, remember to hang up. Because not only, anybody on that frequency heard you. So anybody on 88.3 for about an hour or so heard that conversation that we're having in the vehicle right in front of my house. Of course, Chicopee thought it was the Ring camera, because right now I'm charging my Ring camera, but that's the camera that was in the front. But it's not the Ring camera. Ring camera it's not an FM transmitter. It uses Wi-Fi. It was that they were using a Bluetooth. It's like a Bluetooth to FM transmitter. It's the one, because I guess they have an older vehicle, an older F-150. So it's the type that you have to hook it up to, like the cigarette lighter. You see the cigarette? I call it a cigarette lighter. You know what? Old school people, you know what I'm talking about. So it's a Bluetooth transmitter. It's a Bluetooth. What it does is the phone connects Bluetooth to the thing, and then FM, it transmits FM through your car stereo, and that's how you get the So it's a Bluetooth to FM transmitter, and it hooks up to your car. But I guess the guy forgot to hang up, and we're hearing this whole conversation. I think Chicopee has a video. I saw a video on it. Oh, but that's on TikTok though. He posted a video on TikTok, actually, Chicopee. I actually saw it. I actually saw it yesterday. Let me see who's on now. But yeah, I saw it yesterday, actually. I don't know if Chicopee's gonna be on, but just open up the chat for a second. Yeah, I thought Chicopee was gonna be. I don't know if he's gonna be on, but yeah, he posted a video on it, so it's like, oh my God. But he didn't post the whole conversation. He only posted like a couple of minutes of it. So, yeah. Yeah. Hello, Luna Loud. Yeah. Good evening. Came from. Yeah, I know. I came from there too. I was there too. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna be on for a little bit. I know I didn't do a live stream. I was supposed to do one a couple of days ago. I just been very busy doing stuff around the house. I'm catching up on a lot of stuff. I know summer's over, but I still got to do a couple of projects outside before the weather gets really cold, and then I'm done for the I still got to paint the roof. I still got oh my God, I got a whole bunch of stuff I have to do. So yeah, and of course I said I was gonna do the other side, but I haven't had time to even fix up the shack. I still got a mess behind me. So anyway, I am gonna go get a beer because I need a beer. I'm gonna have my first beer tonight. So let me leave it on 10-10 wins for. Okay, why my audio is? What's going on with my audio? Okay, I need to. Because this is a server, so it's gonna be a little slow on this one. I need to do it over here. Wow, it just crashed? Holy moly, are you serious? Wow. No exit page. Yeah, close it. It's okay. I'll open it over here. Yeah, yeah, of course. The dreaded all snap from Chrome. Why am I even using Chrome at this point? Anyway, somebody's in there. Okay, somebody is not. It's North Carolina. Somebody from North Carolina is in there. Anyway, so that's the FMDX web server. This is why I'm hosting the server. So this is the processes that runs in the background, and then of course this is the AirSpy process running here. So right now, no one is connected to the AirSpy right now. Okay, so let me minimize that. Of course, I'm looking into maybe a couple of things happen. I actually looked into hooking up the FMDX web server to the AirSpy, but then I started chatting with somebody about it, and he told me he recommended not to do that. He actually is looking to buy one of these radios because actually the easiest way to set up the FMDX web service with one of these radios, the TF6686 radio. There's several models of this radio. There's the Deep Elect DP666. There's a whole bunch of them. As long as they have the TF6686 chip and it has the USB port, then you can with this type of screen, and then you can set up FMDX web server. It should not be a problem. And you're gonna have to upgrade the firmware on this to 2.11, I think, or something like that. Because every other method is gonna, especially with SDR, he told me he has issues with it. It crashes a lot and all that. So I'm just probably gonna get a second one of those, and then I'll set it up on another machine, and I have two of them. Because the problem with the AirSpy, this software, is it's crashing quite often though. That's the problem with this software. I think the most I ever had this software running without interruption was like 2 days. So right now, it's running. Right now it's okay. But I'm hoping that it doesn't crash like in an hour or something. That's the problem with this software. It's very, I don't know what's going on. I was thinking about moving all this to set up a Linux server. Maybe the Linux version of the software is more stable. Because right now this is not reliable. This is this will like basically it's hit and miss. Sometimes it'll run for days. Sometimes it'll run for an hour and it'll crash. I don't know for what reason. I looked up every possible reason it is, and it's not on my end. I believe there's just something going on with the software, and they need to update that. The FMDX server is much more stable. I can, this could run for days, and this has a lot of plugins in it. Let me open up the. I'm gonna open it here. Let me move it over here for a minute, and then because I need stuff in, and I'm gonna make sure. Okay. Continue. Okay. Just close that. Let me close that. I'm gonna try Microsoft Edge to see if okay, FMDX web server. Let me see if okay. I'm gonna go here. Then I'm gonna go to my server. Let me see if it's more stable here. And then we're gonna connect. Okay, so this is Edge. Okay, let's see how here. Okay, it works better. It's not slow. Okay, don't want to get no copyright. Let me go 92.3. I know somebody's in North Carolina tuning in, but I guess he's gonna have to wait a second.
Susan Browning, 1010 Wednesday, okay, 92.3 FM. A federal. Okay, so it's working fine. Okay, yeah, I'm not a fan of Chrome. Chrome is like, well, unfortunately, that's what I'm using on my live stream right now, and I hate it. The problem with Chrome is I notice it crashes quite a bit. Although it's been good for me lately here on my streaming computer, but I just gotta, just crazy.
So I'm hoping it'll crash. I should have streamed. I normally on this channel I stream with the Edge, Microsoft Edge. All right, I'll be right back. Let me see what I want. Anyway, I'm gonna turn it over here because somebody else is on right now. Let me see who's on. You got 3 people on now. Oh, I think that's Tasso, Queens. Okay, Tasso, you on there? I don't know if you're in the chat. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, can I have no music? I'll be right back. Let me go upstairs and check on my son too.
Authorities say the students shared insider information with outside vendors, even trying to manipulate outcomes. The schools involved are Eastern Michigan, Temple, Arizona State, New Orleans, North Carolina A&T, and Mississippi Valley State.
Just days after 3 athletes at Fresno State and San Jose State were permanently banned from NCAA sports for allegations of similar betting and game-fixing violations. NCAA President Charlie Baker says while legalized sports betting is here to stay, regulators and gaming companies can do more to reduce these integrity risks by eliminating prop bets and giving sports leagues a seat at the table when setting policies. The investigation is ongoing, and the names of the athletes are being withheld until the process concludes.
Correspondent Ike Giacchi. The big endorsements today for Mayor Adams from the city's African-American police and firefighters organizations. Adams was rallying with supporters, promoting himself and taking shots at his opponents.
3 of them don't have a record. No record at all. No record. One of them is running from his record. I'm the only candidate that has a record that you can look at and see how I help working class people of the city.
The Democratic nominee Zoran Mondani attended an annual Unity in the Community barbecue in East Harlem. Andrew Cuomo appeared as a guest on Politics Nation with the Reverend Al Sharpton on MSNBC, and Curtis Sliwa was rallying against lithium-ion battery storage facilities in Queens. For the first time in history, the nation of Nepal has a woman as their prime minister.
Sushila Karki was sworn in yesterday as interim prime minister. She had previously served as the country's only female chief justice. Earlier this week, the prime minister resigned as nationwide protests over a social media ban turned deadly. Nepal's president dissolved parliament and set elections for March.
Correspondent Dana Jacobson reporting. And right now it's time for Bloomberg Money Watch.
Side effects. They're in every TV commercial promoting name brand prescription drugs.
Severe stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death.
But they could also be describing what drug, advertising, and TV industry executives might be feeling as President Trump directs federal agencies to crack down on the ads. The presidential memorandum calls in part for requiring drug companies to include more side effects in TV ads, which had to include them all until 1997 when the FDA loosened the requirements. That's when this started. Ask your doctor about Zepbound. Turning back the clock could prove costly for drug makers who have found that patients really do as the commercials say, and for the TV business and ad agencies, which since 1997 have been sharing a multi-billion-dollar surge in big pharma.
Luna. Yeah, I knew 1010 Wins uses the same frequency as CFRB in Canada. Yep. Yeah, 1010 Wins. Of course, 92.3 on FM. 92.3 on FM. There's also 1010 Wins. I'm snacking on an egg sandwich first. Sausage and egg sandwich. Oh, sausage, egg, and cheese. I didn't plan this today, but I said, let me come on for a couple of hours. I got nothing to do right now, so I said, let me come on for a couple of hours or whatever. Good. Hello and good evening, RRT08. I hope you're doing well. Long time no see. I was here last week. I did a stream last week, and then before that, I took the all of August and part of July off because because I had to catch up on a whole bunch of projects, including the kitchen remodeling, which I finally completed. Well, I still got to paint the kitchen, but the cabinets are all up and installed. Everything's all, happy wife, happy life. Mm. Oh, that tastes good, nice and cold. Oh yeah, I know. And by the way, how are they? Yeah, I know you. I know you're visiting. He was visiting family in Denver, right? Colorado, right? I remember Colorado. Anyway, good thing is last week, Glenn Dansler. I know Glenn Dansler was going for surgery, and he was on the live stream, and he made it through surgery and everything. So I'm happy about that. We're all happy about that. That Glenn Dansler made it okay. Remember, he was worried about surgery and all that, and I told him that. Oh, Colorado. Okay, doing good. Yes, Colorado. Okay, yeah, I remember Colorado. Okay, so doing good. Okay, good to hear. Yeah, so Glenn Dancer also, he showed up on the live stream and he said the surgery went well and everything. I was like, wow, cool. So very happy to see him in the chat. I was really thinking about him. All right, had to eat that. I would like a half an egg sandwich that was up there. I said, let me snack on it before I start drinking a few beers. You don't want to drink beer on an empty stomach, folks. You don't want to do that. I was gonna watch some Canadian football up here. I was gonna put on my watching some Canadian football up here, and then I said, you know what? I'll just do a live stream. Maybe I'll watch it anyway. Maybe I'll put it on the background. I don't know yet. Let me see. Well, game one should be over now because the CFL playoffs are coming soon. For you Canadian football fans out there, well, somebody's tuning here. So 4 people are in there right now. Let me see who's in there. Middletown. Okay, Middletown. I need to keep an eye on Middletown. He got banned once. I banned him once before. Yeah, I need to keep an eye on Middletown. Because the problem is that this server is only one person can tune at a time on this server. So when you go to the FMDX web servers, the first thing you do is when you go into these radios, always look at the number of people online. So right now there's 4 people in there, including myself. So when you see 4 people in there, it doesn't hurt to type in the chat. Anybody using the radio? Can I tune? And as you can see, Middletown. I don't know if he's just tuning away right now. If that's him, I don't think that's him. I think that's probably somebody that's already doing it. But you get the point. The point is that when you go into these servers, don't just go in there. If you're the only one in there, then obviously you're the only one in there, and you tune. But if you see more than one person in there, wait about a minute or so. And if you see nobody tuning, then it's safe to tune or ask before you tune. It's just, courtesy. So right now it's 4 people in there. So, but the problem with this guy, I noticed I banned him once already, and I can't hear. He messaged me, "Oh, can you please? I'm sorry." And I said, "Listen, don't do it again." The problem with this guy is that he stays down for hours. And I have a plugin built in here that I give people a 1 hour time limit, providing there's nobody on here. You know what I mean? 1 hour time limit by yourself. There's no, now when there's multiple people in here, just tune and move on. Because the purpose of the FMDX web server network is for FMDXers. But right now, since FMDX season is pretty much over, we're heading into the fall now. Let's there's no sporadic key or whatever. Pretty much, I haven't seen sporadic key alert in over a week now. Like almost 2 weeks now. I haven't seen no sporadic key alert. So we are pretty much FMDX thing now. It's gone. It's never gone, but for most people, for most for so in this network, FMDXer or what they call sporadic E activity takes precedence over any type of tuning. You know, but right now, since there's no sporadic E activity or nothing like that, people can tune the bands. Some people, like for example, this one just launched a couple of days ago. Let me go to the map. This guy in Seattle, he just launched a new server. This is a brand new server right in Seattle, Washington. That's a brand new server. As you can see in this map, there's no representation in the United States. Only on the East Coast and the Midwest a little bit here. The guy from San Francisco, he's gone for today. I think he was having problems with the server. He's probably trying to fix his server. This guy's from Seattle. It's like a couple of days already. No, for Seattle. So I went in there and I tuned it, just to hear the Seattle stations. And I went in there in and out. I went in there. Maybe I was there maybe 10 minutes. I went up and down the dial and FM, and that's it. And I left him a comment. I said, "Oh, nice server, what a welcome and all that." And then I moved on. But some people like to hog up the radio and treat it like it's like their own radio, and it's not. It's very limited. There's very limited. Like I said, these servers are. You can have more people. You can have a lot of people waiting and chatting, but only one person can tune this at one time. And this thing's been around for over a year and a half. I think almost 2 years now. The FMDX web server project. Um, Hopefully one day it can be multiple users, but I think it's limited to the hardware. I think it's limited to the hardware of the radio. So remember, this is not an SDR. This is not an SDR. I know people call it an SDR, but it's not an SDR. Unlike the SDR, like the Air Spy, you can barely see it right there. I know it's dark, you can barely see it. That one can handle multiple users at a time. Okay, so um, you know, and there's still a limit to that. Like even if you go to Kiwi SDR, if you look at every Kiwi SDR, there is a limit. You cannot have like 10 people connected to one Kiwi SDR. It would degrade the performance dramatically. One person or two people at the most, and then you start getting dramatic performance decrease. You know, so same thing happens with this SDR, the SPI. It can handle. I have the limit to 3 people, but usually to 2 people, if they're all in the same band, then it works fine. But if, for example, one user's on the FM band and you decide you want to go down to the medium wave band, then it won't work. You're stuck on the FM band because it allocates a certain amount of bandwidth to online. And as soon as the FM guy leaves, then you can go down to medium wave and so on. Or if you go to medium wave first, whoever comes in after that, they're stuck on medium wave also. It just stays there until you leave. That's the way it works because it has to allocate bandwidth, you know. And that's the same thing with this radio, for example, only one person at a time. But also, in my case, I monitor them here. Not all the time, but I kind of already know. I've been hosting this web server for over 2 months now. I already know the regulars in here. There's a lot of people that come in here regularly every day, that multiple times a day. And then you got some that they just like with everything, there's always a couple of guys that like to they think they slick, and I already banned a few, or they just don't like to follow the rules. Excuse me. So in that case, it's one of them, but I don't think he's connected now. I think let me see. Let me see if he's connected. Anyway, I can check on the admin for that, but I just want to see who's. Let me see if he's still on. Connected. Let's see. Who disconnected then? Okay, he disconnected. Okay, it was him that disconnected. Okay, oh goody. Because I'm about to ban him. Because I'm getting annoyed with him already. I gave him a warning the other night, and I told him, you've been on for over an hour. He was on for over like 2 hours. But what he tried to do, he disconnects and he comes back because I have a plug-in that after an hour it kicks you off. It tells you, okay, you've been here too long. Bye bye. But what he does is, I guess, right before he gets kicked off, he just disconnects and it reconnects and it starts the time over. That's the way you can circumvent the plugin. I know it's not a good plugin; it sucks. But this is a community. That's what you got. You got all these plugins. Everything has a plugin. I have a live map plugin. So the live map, what it does, it shows you the map of the. As you tune, it'll show the the transmitter location and all that, things like that. And then this one is a spectrum that shows you like the where all the frequent all the you can just click on the spectrum and it'll take you to that. It's like an SDR, but it's not an SDR. It's just so anything that, of course, anything that's peaked, that means there's audio in there. So instead of you tuning in, you can just click on the spectrum. And it only works on FM. If you go to medium wave and shortwave, none of these plugins work for that. So just be aware of that. And right now, I'm one of the few servers that do all the bands. 99% of the servers worldwide only do FM. I actually offer medium wave and shortwave, but like the other night, I had a combiner. I'll show you what a combiner is. So, for example, this is a combiner. So I have, for example, I have an FM antenna up there, right? It's an FM folded dipole. But I also hooked up the MFJ86 loop on one end and the FM combined it to my radio. That's what I did for a few days. It worked out pretty good. People were actually listening to shortwave on it really good and everything. It worked fine. But I decided to disconnect it today because I want to share the S-Pi. That's why I disconnected it. But this works pretty good, a combiner. I was testing it out. It actually works pretty good. So if you want to combine more than one antenna, you can get something like this. It's called a combiner. I actually use this for television, but it actually works pretty good on FM. And in my case, medium wave, FM, short wave, and this one had an FM antenna, and it worked pretty good. It worked well. So, and people were listening to, for example, you could be able to DX on medium wave, and so on. And even shortwave was coming in pretty good. Because this radio only has one antenna port, as you can see. And that's the problem. That's the only downside about this radio. It only has one antenna port. Now, there is a version of the TF6686 radio that has two antenna ports. But that one is called a headless TF66 radio. It's basically, it looks like an SDR. It doesn't have a screen. It's just a box. It's basically this radio without the speaker. It's basically this radio without the speaker and without the screen. It's just the internals with two antenna ports. It looks like an SDR actually, and it's in a metal box. Or they even have some without the metal box. And they call that a headless TF6686 radio. And that's the one you have two antenna ports on there, and that's the one. I was thinking about maybe getting that in the future. but I believe right now they're not in stock, and also they're not cheap. I think we're talking about over 200 euros. So I really didn't want to spend 200 euros on a radio like that when I could just get a second one of these and dedicate the other one for medium wave and shortwave. Because this radio, if you shop around, you get it for around $60, 60-ish dollars. I think mine's total was $62. I believe it was about almost 2 years ago now. $62, a year and a half ago. $62. So, and this radio, I looked around, you can still get it for about, you have to shop around, you get it for about $65, 60 something dollars. And, it's a lot cheaper than 200 euros. So that's why I rather just have a second radio if I want to host it. But I like the combiner idea. The combiner did work though. The combiner did work, and it didn't. The performance didn't suffer because I thought the performance would suffer on it, but it didn't suffer. Medium wave and short wave sounded very good. They didn't have no issue with it. And then of course the other antenna had the FM dipole, and I was able to I didn't see no degradation of performance or anything like that. It worked fine. So this combiner thing really worked for that. Okay, as you can see, I don't know if you can focus in there. Focus in there. Let's focus in there. Problem is my hand is moving so much. Let me just put it here. See if I can put I can put it down here like that, and let me put it right here. I don't know if we can focus so you can see what I'm talking about with this combiner. Let us zoom in there. Let's see if it focus. Focus. There's too much stuff going in the background. I think it's the lighting in here. Let me try it now. Let me get closer here. So we can do it like that. Anyway, so this combiner. Come on. I hate when this happens. I really hate when this happens. I think it's because of the screen. I think I need to put it over here and then maybe go lower. And I'm going to try to stand it up here. See if that'll work. Maybe we can focus. Unbelievable with this freaking camera, man. You're killing me with this thing. Let me try it again. Oh my God, this thing cannot focus. What is going on with this thing? I'm gonna put it literally I gotta put it right in the face and see. Okay, this is annoying. Oh my God. Maybe I put my hand over it and then I move my hand down. Let's see. Oh my God, it's really want to. If I move my hand out the way. Okay, I guess it doesn't want to do this thing right now. I'll put it right there. Because I got to keep my hand steady. That's the problem. This autofocus thing is crazy. Okay, I'm going to give up on that. Forget it. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is a combiner. They call this a combiner. It's used for television. It's like you want to hook up more than one antenna and combine them. This is what this is. So I use this for, in this, because of this radio. And I want to share medium wave, short wave, and FM. I could use two separate antennas. And then I can combine it. So for example, FM dipole goes here. So FM dipole connects to this one. The other thing, you're gonna need adapters, of course. FM dipole goes here. Well, that one is 75 ohm F connector. This one is gonna be what it was, PL259 adapter. Let me see if I have it right here. Actually, I just put the cable up. Where's the cable? Oh God. Yeah, it's right here. So for this one, I had to use PL259 to F connector goes here, and then that one went to the MFJ1886 loop, and then this one you can pick any of these three or any of these four, whichever you know. Main thing is this one, as long as one goes in, the only let me see which one. That's fine if I can. Yeah, see they all say out in out in out in. So the black is the combiner. The light color is a splitter. Okay, so what you do is you connect. You know, you can connect up to four. You can connect it to four antennas to one device with this. So, for example, a television, you could go connect four different TV antennas pointing in different directions to one, feed. Of course, with TV is more complicated because you got something called multipath, and it messes up the. I tried this with television; it doesn't work that well because the problem with television is called multipath,. And you get a lot of It actually makes the TV signal worse. But for radio, it works really good. It works pretty good. So MFJ 1886 loop here. I mean, FM dipole here. MFJ 1886 loop on this one, and one went straight to the radio, and it did pretty good. So definitely, I would definitely. Oh, okay, I got a little picture now. So I definitely would recommend something like this. What I'll do is I bought this one a few years ago. I'll look for one on Amazon, and I'll put the link in the description at the end of the live stream. I'll put a link to one of these. So this is a combiner. Okay, this is not a splitter. Okay, there's a difference between a splitter and a combiner. Okay, this is a difference. Can you use a splitter and do the opposite? Like for example, this is a splitter. For example, that's a splitter. So you see, this is FM dipole. This one goes to my radio up here, and this one is going to the TF6686. All right, that's a splitter. Can you make that? Can you flip that around and use it as a combiner? You can, but it's not really designed to, because there is some loss you're gonna get on that as a combiner. Because I believe the combiner also handles I think one of them has a DC block. So if you want to send power to one of them, it doesn't. The problem with the splitter, if you send power to one, it sends it power to all. And this one, I believe, has a DC block. I think is which one has a DC block? I think is one of them. I forgot. I think it's this one. I think it's the one that has a DC block. So you got things like that because sometimes you want to send you want to send power over coax. So that's why something like this. Now, for those of you in the satellite world, it's the equivalent to a dissect switch. A dissect switch is when you have more than one LMB or more than one LMB. For example, like I used to have a dish network dish that had three LMBs on the dish. So that's three separate. So each of them need a connection, and then they will combine them to go to your satellite receiver. You see what I'm saying? That's called a dissect switch. You know, I know people ask me all the time, why don't you get a rotor for your antennas? The truth of the matter is, I don't need a rotor because the rotor is there's a couple of things that happen with the rotor. Um, my connect, I have a lot of coax that goes all the way to the roof. It's 75 feet minimum that goes all the way to the roof. That's a lot of coax, and to run power through that is just you know, and in my area, most of the like for example television, most of my channels are in New York City area. So most of my antennas are because I have multiple TV antennas up there. Most of it's New York City. Only like 3 or 4 channels I had to point it like northwest to get the other channels, and they were up in Poughkeepsie, like Poughkeepsie. There's a transmit up there in Poughkeepsie, and that was it. So for me to have a rotor, it doesn't make sense. So I had like 2 antennas combined with this, and I was getting New York City stations and the Poughkeepsie station on the other antenna, and that was it. And it worked pretty good for the most part. The problem is sometimes you get multipath, especially certain channels that share similar like a similar frequency. That's when you have an issue. Because when you do this for TV, the coax has to be the coax from the antennas have to be the same length and all this. If they're varying length, that could be enough to do multipath. And if you have multipath issues, you're not gonna get a picture. You're gonna get a lot of pixelation picture. It's horrible. It's not gonna work. That's why I don't really recommend this for television unless they're nowhere near each other's frequency. Like maybe for example, I'll give you an example of this. What this is good for? UHF antenna, right? VHF antenna. You see what I'm saying? Then you're good because now this one covers all the VHF. Say you got a VHF and a VHF, a low VHF antenna. You have a one connector, but then the other connector you can use it for all the UHF channels, and there's no crossing there, so you're not gonna get multipath issues. So that's why I would recommend this for television. I would recommend that just for one is VHF, a VHF antenna, and then the other one is for all the other channels, UHF antenna, whatever, and that's it. That's the one I would recommend. But to try to do two different markets, that's asking for because sometimes they cross, and that's when you get issues. But for radio, I'm surprised it worked very well for the last few nights. So I'm definitely gonna try it again, but I need to figure out a way to split that MFJ86 loop connection, and then I can share them both. Right now, my AirSpy is using this one, my MFJ86 loop, and then the FM dipole is for this one. So there you go. Yeah, I know I rambled quite a bit there, but I just wanted to share that with you guys because I don't know if you guys are interested in having a server like this or just in general because like in my case, that's what happened in my case. When I first put up my TV antenna up there, I had an omnidirectional. I still have it. I have a clear stream. It's the clear stream 4. It's the big one. It's the big one with the two. I think it's a clear stream 4. I forgot which one. Yeah. So I thought that one was gonna get. I was gonna get 80, 100 channels right away. Nope, didn't happen. Because even though it's omnidirectional, it doesn't have much gain. So since I live in Yonkers, even though I'm 15 miles away from the transmitter, I live in a valley and I got hills in front of me. I got trees. I got all this stuff. So I'm not even line of sight. I'm what they call a two edge. So when you go to rabbit ears and all that stuff, TV food, whatever, mine is two edge. That means the omnidirectional it didn't work well. And then I had to eventually I wound up getting the RCA. I wound up buying this one. RCA, AN 75751. And this one, once I got it pointed to New York City, oh, my hands are wet because of the beer. Once I got it pointed toward New York City, I locked in, boom, 115 channels. 115 channels on the Roku. I kept struggling with it. And I had the clear stream with another clear stream pointing in a different direction. But the problem with it, they both omnidirectional. They were not directional. So I didn't get any gain from them. Yeah, I would get signal, but it wasn't strong. It would drop. it would drop a lot. I mean, it was some of the channels were unwatchable. So in my case, I had to get a Yagi. I had to get a Yagi. So once I got that RCA one and I pointed, I locked it in there. Of course, I use the RCA dish pointing app, whatever it's called. I got it there. Boom. First time I did, I got 94 channels. Then I tweaked it. Then I got 97 channels. Then I went into 104, 109, then 116. I think that's the most I ever got once, 117 or 116. The most I ever got ever, 117 right now. That's where I'm at right now. With the RCA. So omnidirectional antennas are good if you live nearby the city, if you live in a city and there's no obstructions. Because if you see my video when I'm pointing into New York City, the antenna is pointing right through trees. There's big trees right in front, right next to my house. So the antenna points through the trees. That's New York City. I have to point right through the trees. So, of course, right now the fall is around the corner next week. Once all those leaves come down, for a few months, I'm really gonna get a good signal. They're really gonna be strong now because all the leaves are gonna be gone. So I may even get a couple of more channels. And then once spring comes back up, comes back, and then foliage comes, because everything affects TV signal. I thought because 15, the New York City transmitter is only 15 miles away. I thought I was gonna get stations all strong. Nope, I was in for a rude awakening because Yonkers is full of hills. It's hilly. It's a hilly, it's a hilly city. It's a small city, but it's very hilly. It reminds me of San Francisco, because I visited San Francisco years ago. It reminds me of San Francisco. The same thing. It's very hilly type city, you know, steep hills and all that. So, yeah. Let's see. Newer ham radio Elmer, 75 ohm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay for radio listening. It doesn't matter. 50 ohm, 75 ohm doesn't matter because I put the thing back. Yeah. Even though this is 75 ohm and the MFJ86 loop is 50 ohm, it doesn't matter because you're only listening. You're not transmitting. So people say, oh, but it's not. You're gonna get a mismatch, whatever impedance mismatch. No, no, no. That doesn't apply because it's for listening. It only applies for if you're going to transmit, which I'm not going to transmit. So you can use this for listening. So if you have like one radio or one receiver and only has one, like in this case, the TF6686, it only has one antenna connector. Having like that actually, uh, having a combiner actually helped. I was able to share this radio with you know. So I need to get another cable and I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this because I have people have fun. I noticed that people were tuning medium wave a lot on my radio, and I think I was there's a handful of radios that FMDX web server has more than one band. I know the guy in Mexico, Monterrey. This guy, let me go to his map. He has medium wave also. This guy, DX Monterey. Let me click on his receiver. Let me go to his receiver. Yeah, see, he has same thing. FM, shortwave, medium wave, and yeah. So this is Monterrey, Mexico. This guy's in Mexico. I like his server. He has a nice layout. He has all these plugins here. He's one of the few FMDX servers that I really like. Um, you know, pretty cool. And he also has multiple antennas, right here. See, he has multiple antennas. He has a V dipole, and I don't know what this H is. It's in Spanish. H, Finco H. I don't know what that is. H. Oh, horizontal. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Horizontal, vertical, horizontal. That's what that means. My bad. Yeah. So V is vertical dipole. H is horizontal dipole. So he has one vertical, one horizontal. Okay, that's what it means. Finco. Yeah, yeah. I forgot a little bit of my Spanish. So he has two antennas. So some radios, by the way, he's using a headless. By the way, the radio I just told you about that he has two antenna ports. If your radio has two antenna ports, like a headless one, and you could just click on the pull down here, and you can switch antennas. So that's why I like radios like this too. His radio is pretty cool. I wish I could do multiple antenna, but I can't. That's why I have to use this. You see. Now, if I get my hands on a headless one, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to them. Maybe I could because I figure if I could feature it on this channel, maybe they'll get more sales on it. Maybe I can make a review on it on my channel because I really don't want to buy one. But if they could donate one to me, that would be nice. See, if I were to have a headless, then I don't need this because then I'll have one port go to the FM dipole, and then the other port I can hook it up to, for example, the NFED. I could hook it up to my NFED or my, you know, MFJT86 loop. You see? So that's the headless one. Yeah. So yeah, but and because they have a single, they have what they call headless light, which is just one port, headless TF6686. Then they have the two port one, and I don't want the light one. I want the one with the two ports. If I ever would decide to buy it, but I don't think I want to buy it because I'll be honest with you. Sometimes running these servers is a headache because you got to deal with with people that sometimes try to how you say. Let me close this. Yeah, because sometimes, like I said, sometimes you got people in there that just don't want to Anyway, he's not in there now, but I had to ban a few people because it's a learning curve with this stuff. That's why I don't have all those plugins in there. Some people use something called auto loggers and all that, and I guess they leave their connection here, and they have an auto logger plugin for that. I ain't putting all that there because I don't want to encourage people to be sitting on my radio for hours at a time. That's not what this radio is all about. I just share this radio because I want people to go in and tune, and then that's it. Because like I said, I enjoy tuning around the world. I tuned every server here, and then of course even the Brazil ones I enjoyed, and then there was one in Chile. I remember he's not on right now, but I enjoyed it. I tuned every tuner here. I enjoyed it, and some other ones over here, including my Ready DXA. But he hasn't been on lately. I saw him on Jill's live stream last week. So he's been very busy. So that's why I haven't seen him. I was kind of worried about him for a bit. But then he told me that he was just been very busy doing some stuff. So, but yeah, I was kind of concerned about him, but he's okay. So yeah, his server, he used to have a server. He's the one that got me into this whole FMDX web server. You see, there's a lot of people in Europe that is very popular in Europe. It's really popular in Europe. Very popular. Then you got a few in Australia, Okay, hold on. Okay, click. No. Why is it doing this? Okay. I don't know why it keeps doing this. All right. Anyway, there's a few in Australia. There you go. You got a few in Australia. And, you got a couple in India. None in Africa so far. I think there was one in South Africa, but I haven't seen them in a long time, in a few months already. I have not seen the one. I believe there was one in South Africa. And then this one is in Turkey. Is it Turkey? This one is not online right now. And then there's one in Japan, and that's it. You know. And I like this. I like this, and the reason why I like it because it's more personable. The reason why I like it because you see all of this. You get the RDS and all that. In my case, I put the plug in to see the station logos. Okay, this thing is really. This. Man, I need to. Jesus Christ, this thing is really. Here's a lighting. Lighting's really messing everything up over here. Anyway, so you got the station logos and things like that. You can see the station logo. All this stuff is pretty cool. That's why I like tuning these radios. And you have all the information right there. It tells you how far away the transmitter is. And then in some servers they have the live view app. I mean, plug-in like mine, live map app. Excuse me. So as you tune, of course, not in the screen. I will move mine over here. And then as I tune, you'll see the map here, and you can see in real time. You'll see the location. I got videos. You see some of them, even DXing. Like that station I called in Florida and Tampa. It showed up on the map here. I got I did get the RDS and everything, and it showed up on the map here. I was Yonkers, New York, all the way down to Tampa. It's pretty cool. And this is like the first. This was like my first season doing FMDXing. I never did FMDXing before. I mean, I did a couple of stations here and there. I caught, over the years, but I was never considered FMDXing, the DXer. And then because of this server thing, I really enjoyed the hobby a lot more. I really did. I enjoyed the hobby a lot. I got into this whole FM thing, and it was pretty cool. So, so there you go. So 1 hour, 7 minutes. Cool. And yeah. Because of course, over the summer, I'm a technician license holder, so 10 meters is kind of dead. Although it's coming around now, the weather's starting to get cooler, so now 10 meters is coming back. And I can start doing some FT8 on 10 meters, some single sideband on 10 meters. Of course, I listen to my shortwave too. Of course, I listen to medium wave. I do medium wave DXing and all that. But now the weather's getting cooler. Now it's more favorable to 10 meters. Until someday I'll get my general, upgrade to general. But right now I just haven't had time to study or anything like that. Haven't had any time. All these projects over the summer. I had to catch up on some projects. Anybody have any questions? Let me know. I don't plan to be on too long, but if anybody want to talk about anything, please feel free. I figure let me just come on for a bit and talk and rag chew. Talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, and then yeah. I'm gonna put the AC on for a minute. It's kind of muggy in here right now. Let me put it on 68. 69, that's fine.
For 4,500 people there.
Connecticut Representative Rosa DeLoria, whose district includes New Haven, took to X, writing, "This should make it clear that her state is the ultimate when it comes to pizza."
If it's New Haven, it's pizza. And yes, the largest pizza party ever held. It's being held on the New Haven Green.
You know what I mean? I'm going to tune this radio, actually. Let me tune the Yesu. Let me turn on the Yesu. Let me open up this tab up here. Open it up here. Just give me a minute here. Okay, not that way. This way. There we go. Let me tune it with the end fed. Okay, because this is I think this webcam is about to the history. Wow, really noisy. Really noisy. Wow. Let me try Nope. Okay. I thought for a minute there I didn't have the thing switched on. All right, let me see. Let me find let me see over down here. These guys out the way. Wow, it's really crappy right now. It's like noisy. Wow. Anyway, let me try 9. Yeah, 9. Okay. 9. What is that? Wow. So noisy. Oh my God. It's definitely not the AC. There's something going on. Unless it's just conditions. Wow. Here, I'm gonna tune in. All right. Forget about the copyright, but the hell with it.
can't come along and say, well, Jesus has an entirely different view on the Old Testament view of the old death. If we do that, then we have Jesus contradicting Scripture, and that can't be. Now, if you read Matthew 10 all the way through, at the beginning of Matthew 10, Jesus told his disciples that their preaching of the gospel would lead.
What we had to be was the rest. I mean, you saw what I was saying. You're saying that I couldn't pay for him, I couldn't pay for him. Yes, but that's because I said, Coach has his own sins. I said, I have my own sins. Now we begin to talk about Jesus. What if he has his sins? How is my sin? Ancient law code said that if the father was dead, the brother could negotiate the bride price. This is what Abram did. And since Abram had passed himself off as the brother,
WRNO.
Pharaoh paid Abram the bride price, which means they came to a negotiated deal.
Oh, that sounds good.
Do you understand what this means? Pharaoh was standing there saying, how much? Abraham throws up the biggest number from every kind, and I need both male and female so that I can multiply my flocks and herds, and I need servants, and I need male servants, and I need female servants, and he just put this astronomical amount, and Pharaoh says, okay, go get it, guys. He just goes aside. Here it again. Well, what is it in 1994?
Sound like the voice of Turkey. RRT08, the Sanjay 909 has good reception on airband just with the telescoping antenna. Oh, cool. 909, that's the oh yeah, that's the Radio Shack DX. What is it? I have it. The original. No, is that it? Yeah, yeah. Is that the one? 909. The DX. Is it? I forgot the. Off the top of my head, I can't remember right now. Where's that radio at? I have to go look at it. Okay, I'm getting sloppy here. Wait a minute. Radio Shack is right there. DX. What the hell it is? I don't even know why I got up. It's right here. Mention a 909. No, DX398. Okay, DX398. Oh, the 909X2. Okay, yeah. Okay, never mind. That was the 80. No, never mind. I'm talking about the radio. Okay, the 909X2. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have either one of those. I wish I mean, you know, I love the radio, the look of it. But I mean, it's still a good radio. I don't know if people. I don't know. Not that they get hate. That radio gets some hate. It's just you know. I know Jill's mentioned there that I know a medium wave is not a medium wave. On shortwave is not the best radio for shortwave with a telescoping whip, I believe. But you know, I would like to buy one. But it's just at that price range, so many radios come to mind that I rather, you know, so many radios that I rather have at that price range. I should have said it like that. There's so many other radios at that price range. I rather just pick over that one because you know the reviews. That's why I never bought one because the reviews really kind of shy me away from it. It did better than my Eton. I'm meeting with which Eton, which model? Which model are you talking about? I don't know which one you're talking about, which model. If you're talking about the model that you bought recently, the one that yeah. And that's an issue sometimes. I had that issue happen to me with a hotel in Pennsylvania when we went to Hershey Park. And that hotel, okay, the executive, yeah. You know that radio, the price just went through the roof. again. When I got the payment, when I got that last payment on it, I was gonna buy that radio, and I went on eBay. It was over $75 and up. There was nothing cheaper than $75, and I said, "Damn." I remember when you guys were buying it, was like $49.99, $50 or something. I think even what's his name? The guy from South Africa. What's his name? SWL guy. What's his name? Andre, right? Is it Andre? I think he bought his for like $40. It was like not like right under $40. I saw it for like $39.99. Somebody had it listed. And then when I got my payment, that's the first place I went to look for it. It skyrocketed. Because everybody started buying it once he posted the video. Yeah, and I know the regular price for it was like 100. You pay 120. Okay, yeah. Because when Andre posted it, I think that's his name, Andre. When he posted it, it was like for $50. And I saw that, but I didn't have the funds for it. I didn't have the funds available to buy it. And then you sent me that donation. And then, that took a month. And then finally, when I got the payment, I went on eBay and it skyrocketed to like 75. And it wasn't even a good radio. I think it was a used one. I said, I'm not paying $75 for that radio used. Forget about it. Forget it. So I wanted to buy, I think I bought a telescope and I bought some other stuff for it. And anyway, I should be getting a payment in October. I made the threshold for that. In October, I'm looking into getting either that one, if the price drops. I still want to get that one, but I don't want to pay $80 for that radio. I'm sorry. If I can get it for the price that everybody was getting it. I don't know what happened. They must have had a massive supply of them and they were dumping them. And but then the price just went again at $75, $80. And when I went to buy it, there was only 4 of them listed. It's like they sold them out. They got sold out everywhere. So I only saw 4 of them listed, and I said, forget it. I'm not buying it now. Forget it. I'm not going to pay $75, $80 for it. But I'll keep an eye on it out for it. But again, I'm not paying $75 for it because it is a good radio. It is a good radio. So, yeah, I don't know what happens. I guess, people start buying it. Maybe they watch a video somewhere. Maybe somebody posts a video on it and they really like the radio a lot. And then all of a sudden everybody wants to buy the radio. Like SH Data came out with a D219, but in a teal color. They came out with another color, like two new colors. I guess a limited edition. But then they reach out to me. I thought they would reach out to me and say, "I'll forget." Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, not that I want it, not that I need it, but I thought they would reach out to me because I only have one D219. I have the one from not the 10 kilohertz one. I have the European one. So I wanted a 10 kilohertz one, but I wasn't gonna buy it. I wasn't gonna buy it at this point. Even though it's very low price radio. And I saw when Andre made the video on it, I was like, oh, they got one brand new with teal. Okay. But it's okay, things happen. I mean, in fairness, I didn't post a video for about a few weeks. So I don't know what was the deal. But I'm at the point now that I really don't want to make I shouldn't say that. I'm at the point now that I don't want people sending me little radios anymore to review. I'm kind of beyond that now. I'm trying to reinvent this channel and other things. Unless it's a real exceptional radio that has new features, that has always a real great radio like the Kirosan DX286. That is a great little radio. Then I would love to review radios like that. But I don't want to review every little single radio that comes out. I don't want to do that. And I get offers for that. I get offers for especially the handhelds. I get offers for all of that all the time, and I just can't. I don't want no more handhelds. The last one I got was the Quanchen TK11. I of course it's a learning curve on it. I haven't have time to use it, but I think that's gonna be my last handheld that I'm gonna accept from anybody else anytime soon. I don't think it's gonna, because they're all pretty much the same mold. They all don't have the best reception, and even though they say they're medium wave, short wave, and all these reception bands, but they're not good. They're not very good reception. Receiving. Even weather band. This one struggles. The TK11. So I don't know. I just so that's why I'd rather just buy the radio and do my own review on it. I don't want to be compromised. Because I get offers for I'm not I don't want to name anybody, but other people get all these radios, little small radios all the time, especially Redicus and all that. And I don't want my channel to be all about reviewing Redicus radios. You know what I mean? Like I just spent 20 minutes talking about combiner, using combiner for radio. Using one of these for combining radio antennas, which normally this will be out the box thinking. You know what I mean? But I just spent 20 minutes on it here. You see this stuff? I read a couple of stuff like this. They talk about a $12 radio. So that's why. Or how to set up the FMDX web server. I want to make a tutorial video on that. And my recommendations on how to, what are the best plugins for the FMDX web server and things like that. I don't want to be like a lot of channels that just talk about, a $12 radio. Just to me, that's not something I want to be. I'm not going to spend my time watching, So yeah. Yeah, exactly. RT08. Yeah, nothing beats my Sony ICF26 pocket radio. Yeah, I know. I have the same radio. That's the one I have too, the analog one. Then they came out with the 27 DSP, and that one is crap. Yeah, the ICF26 is. I bought that one. I got that one from. I bought mine from eBay. I had it from eBay a few years ago. And I didn't know at the time that was the last analog radio that Sony made. And it's pretty good. I was like, wow, it's very sensitive. A little pocket radio. I picked up KXCL out of Waterloo, Iowa in the basement. I made a video on that too. I picked it up. A little pocket radio. AM, a medium wave DXing. Yeah, so the executive, I definitely had to put it on hold because the price skyrocket, and the ones that were available, they were asking for too much. It was like $75 with like $15 shipping. Like, are you kidding me? So it's not $75; it's $90 that we're talking about, and then with taxes, we're talking about $100. Yeah, RT08. Yes, the ICF27 bought one at Walmart. Terrible. Yeah, that's the one with the DSP. Oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that, Elmer. No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. First of all, this is my second live stream since July. I just came back last week. So that's not even. That's not. Don't even. I don't even. I forget about that. I'm very sorry, and wow. My deepest condolences, my friend, to you. I cannot imagine. You know. I'm sorry they're going through this. I mean, it's a difficult time right now, and I don't want to get into the whole thing about it, but it is a difficult time. With recent stuff, especially 9/11. Yeah, prayers to you, prayers to your family, Elmer. Um, Never apologize for being here. We all have this channel is just a channel. This channel is just a channel. We come in here, we hang out. You know, it's not the end. You know, um, you know what I mean. It's nothing. This is, like Glenn Dassler. Yeah, Glenn Dassler showed up last week on my chat, and that was the first time I did a live stream in over a month and a half. And I was glad to see him because I remembered he was going for surgery. And that's all I care about. I don't. This channel is nothing to me. It's just a channel. But the relationship that I bonded with you guys over the last, few, especially during the live streams, the last couple of years, this is what brings me. This is what keeps me going. What keeps me going is you guys. It's not the number of people watching. It's not the number of any of that. It's not even it's not about that. It's yeah, exactly. Mike B. I'm sorry for your loss. May you find peace. Yeah, I mean, I have two daughters, and fortunately, my oldest daughter, she doesn't want to speak to me anymore. And I'm partly to blame for that because it's hard. It's hard. Like my oldest daughter, for example, it was a distant relationship. Of course, she was born out of wedlock. Me and her mom never got married or anything. And I never saw her grow up the way I wish I would have. And then my second daughter, it was semi not distant, but we were separated, me and her mom. But at least with her, I got to see her grow up. And then after high school, she didn't acknowledge me anymore. And I love them both dearly. And then, of course, now I have my son. He's 10 years old. He's upstairs playing. And, that's every parent's worst fear is to, lose their child. So, bro, my heart aches for you. And my deepest condolences to you, bro. Words can't describe. I'm trying, but words can't describe. Imagine what you're going through. I'm very sorry that this happened. It's a lot of shit going on now. I'm the same way, Elmer. If I had the choice, I would have given my life to let her exactly. I would do the same thing for my children. If giving me will keep them here, because I'm 50. I'm gonna be 59 in next week. When Thursday or Friday, I don't know, 19th. I'll be 59. I lived the life already. Growing up, I lived a life already that, I'm not going to complain when I'm gone. I'm not going to say, well, the day that, the day that I'm my last day here, I'm not going to have a regret. Knock on wood. I lived I lived my life. I didn't shy away from a lot of things. Even starting a channel. I would have never started this channel. I would have never met amazing people like you guys. So I feel the same way, Elmer. I would give anything to keep my. So I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, prayers to your family. Yeah. So never apologize for not being here. That's irrelevant. I just came back. I took the rest of the summer off since July. I needed a break myself because I was going through some other stuff myself. Plus, I had projects to catch up. So exactly, Elmer. Absolutely, I lived my life already. I've done everything that I really needed to do in this lifetime. That's the way I feel. My wife and I, we get into it sometimes, verbally and stuff like that. And she throws that thing at me. Oh, you waiting for? She actually said that. I said no. I said listen. If anybody's gonna go first, it's me. Because I don't want my son. I don't want my son to be without his mom. A son without his dad. Even though his dad. Us men know where the pecking order is when it comes to mothers. Oh, sorry, who hit the camera here? Mother's always gonna be number one. Mother's always gonna be number one. Then the parent. So I told my wife that I said, listen, if anybody's gonna bury somebody, you're gonna bury me. I'm not gonna bury you. I'm not gonna bury you, and I'm certainly not gonna bury her. No. I want to go first. Of course, you have no say in that. God has a say in that. You just hope. I hope and pray that it's me first. I don't want it to be any other way. I don't want it to be any other way. I don't. I don't want my son to be without his mother. Because I see that he's very close to his mother. And I certainly don't want to be, no. It's unthinkable. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm an old man now. You aren't supposed to bury your children. Exactly. I know. I know this woman. I grew up. I know this woman. When I lived in the Bronx, we lived in the same block. I grew up with she had two sons and a daughter, and I grew up with them. We used to play. We grew up together. They were kids. We grew up when I knew them, they were kids. I was we were young, and then everything was fine until right before the pandemic. And then the first one, and then, so she lost a daughter. Her daughter was already in her late 20s. She lost her daughter. 2 years later, she lost her son, her oldest son, like back to back within 2 years. Now the only one left in the family is the youngest. And it's like, I was like, wow. And I was like, man, it was like back to back. Only daughter, and then the oldest son. And I'm like, wow. It's crazy. No. It is. I don't want to ask questions because to me, but yeah. I mean, how old was she? It's relevant because she shouldn't, any age is too young because obviously she's your daughter, your daughter. But yeah, it's wow. I'm very sorry for your loss, man. Very sorry for your loss. Wow. I mean, how you holding up in terms of, I'm talking about physically. I know you survived a stroke. My brother had a stroke a few months back. My older brother had a stroke. But he's okay now. I mean, he has to go to therapy, but he's okay, It's like but he's 60 what? She was 39. Okay. 39 years old, had a great job, nice house, one truck, Jeep car, boat, lots of friends. Grandkids? No grandkids? 39. Holding up. 39. No kids. Wow. Okay. That's definitely if the kids would. If she had kids, that would have been hard on the kids. But yeah. Okay. Wow. That's your only daughter, or your only child, Alma? Was she the only one, or you have you know, other or just your daughter? Only daughter. Wow. Oh, you have a 25-year-old son too. Okay. Hmm. How is he? How is he handling? How is he doing? Okay, so you have a son also. Okay. He's doing well. He's busy with his work. Okay. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's the good thing. Busy with work. I was listening to the radio earlier today on WABC, and it was talking. I was listening to Larry Kudlow, and he was talking to somebody else, and they brought up a good point about staying busy. The problem is that a lot of the young people today, they don't work. They graduate out of college, and they're too busy. It goes back to what happened a couple of days ago with this awful shooting. A lot of these young adults have too much time on their hands. They graduate from a school, whatever, and they have a too high expectation. Instead of just working, and they start blaming everybody else. So being busy with his work is a good thing. The problem is a lot of people are not busy. The problem is when people are not busy is they fall into that. I'm guilty of that. The problem is when you don't preoccupy yourself with doing things, and you sit there. My brother Harry is a perfect example right now. He's on disability. He's staying home all day, and he goes on Facebook, posting stuff like why he like he's calling out for help. And I'm not that type of person. I told him, listen, you need to, let's just, you live alone. When I say by that, I mean like he lives in his room, upstairs. I said, you need to go out and do something. Even if you're on disability, I know it's hard. In his case, he's legally blind in one eye, whatever. I said, listen, you need to go outside, go, take a class, go, do something. You gotta go out there. You can't sit home all day and go online and complain about why nobody remembers your birthday and things like that. That's just, I'm sorry. I just can't deal with that. I don't live alone. I have a wife and kid. But if I was living alone, all alone, I would not be in my house all day. I would be outside. Whether it's going for long walks, I would pick up other hobbies. I never done fishing in my life. I would have been doing fishing. I just can't be home expecting, it doesn't work that way. You have to go out there and make yourself busy, because it'll drive you crazy if you stay home thinking about all the stuff, and that's why I also took a break from live streaming, because I was kind of neglecting other stuff around the house. I got caught up in too much, internet. You gotta give the internet a break sometimes. You can't be consumed 24/7 with the internet, anything, internet, social media, internet, anything. I think that's the worst thing that's going on. Is social media is making a lot of people lazy, not thinking for themselves. No, it's okay, bro. No, it's okay, bro. It's 2 hour mark. It's okay. I was gonna log off in about 2 hours, but you know what? I'm gonna hang around for another hour just for you, bro. We could talk. It's okay, bro. Now one more time. I've been pushing myself to do extra turnaround on how to keep my mind and my heart from falling into. Yeah, and exactly, and that's what I know in your case it's extreme because you lost your daughter, and I'm talking about in general. So I'm not talking about your case, but you did remind me about something that I heard on the radio this morning, and a lot of people are too connected to the internet. They're too much like they feel lonely. They go to the internet. No, you're not supposed to. Or they cry out for help on the internet all the time. Like that, my brother did that. My brother was doing that. His birthday, he had his birthday a couple of weeks ago. He posted on his Facebook, which is the worst thing to do. And nobody cared about him. Nobody. Meanwhile, he doesn't mention that I do look out for him. So he goes on the internet playing the victim, and that shit really drove me up the wall, and I went off on him. And I'm not, it's just you reminded me about that. Exactly. Talk, no problem. Talking is good. Exactly. We're talking. And then when I heard what happened on the radio today, I heard this radio conversation about it. And this is a problem with a lot of people today, especially people don't want to go outside anymore. Yeah, Mike B. Exactly. You're not bringing me down. I'm not. I'm here. I'm sipping a beer on a Saturday night, but I'm watching some Canadian football. But it's okay. I don't care. I gotta talk to you. I don't. Um. And that's the problem with a lot of people right now. They just pour their heart and soul on something, and they're doing it. They're doing it with the wrong intent. They're the wrong. Like my brother's case, and I told him, I said, listen, you need to go outside and things like that. Like for example, me, like when I have too much on my mind, what the number one thing I do a lot? Clean. I actually start, you know what? I need to clean all this. Let me start cleaning. And then by the time I'm done cleaning, I'm so tired and I feel good about myself. And then I can say, okay, then I feel better, but a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just get into that rut, It is. How much time? I didn't want to bring everyone down with my shit. No, it's not. It's real, bro. If anyone has radio related comments, yeah. If anybody want to ask radio related, they can do so. That's fine. But right now, talking is good. Exactly. You're not bringing me down, Mike. Exactly. He's not bringing. Exactly. Might be even without a loss like yours, the world today just seems so tense and anxious and crazy. It is. It's crazy. It's just really crazy. And that's why funny. I mean funny. I mean haha funny. I mean funny that this is a radio related channel, but even I have to shut off the radio. There's days, and there's days at a time. I have to shut off the radio. There's certain things I cannot listen to right now. It's just too much of the same thing. It's too much of finger pointing going on. It's too much division going on. It's too much of this, and I can't stand that. I can't stand that. I just came from Jill's chat. I was there last week. They know in here what happened. A few months ago, there's some things I didn't agree with what he said. So I stopped going to the live stream for a few months. And, you know, because it got kind of political. Well, it was political. And I'm a conservative. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not a liberal. I'm a conservative. And of course, when I go over there, it's a lot of liberals. I got to bite my tongue. You know, and this was on Facebook when he went off. And I said, you know, I can't. So for a while, I couldn't go in there. I finally went back last week because, you know, I was worried about him. That's why I went back. And I just say, hello, Jills and everything. I hope you're doing well. Please take care of yourself, because he's under a lot of stress with his caretaking duties. That's why because I saw recently that he's been really stressful. He was really stressful. I know the caretaking duties is really taking a toll on him. So you know what I had to do? I said, you know what, Danny, you know what, just go, you know, I went in there and I said hello to him and I said, listen, please take care of yourself. You know, we're polar opposites in terms of political spectrum and all the ideology, whatever you want to call it, on some things, and that's fine. Listen, it's okay to disagree, and that's it. And I bite my tongue in there as well. I believe me, I bite. Even today, it was going to that direction. I just bit my tongue. I say I'm not gonna, because I never did that. That's one thing I never did in there. I never brung my politics, because in here, everybody knows in here who I voted for. I voted for him 3 times. Number 45 and number 47. That's what I voted for. That's my man. That's my man. You know, so when you know, I'm on that side. I'm the, you know. That's my man. That's all I can say. He grew up in New York City. I grew up in New York City. So I go back, way back with him. That's my man. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. So you know how I feel. That's it. So when I go to somewhere else and I hear all this bad shit about him, I gotta leave. I'm out of here, because you know, I just don't wear the hat, but that's my man. That's all. I'm gonna leave it at that. But you know, but I was really, but I now was. I'm still concerned about Jills. That's why I went to the live stream, because I said, you know what, that's the only way I can communicate with him, other than Facebook. But I noticed when I lurked in there a few times watching his live stream, and I didn't participate in the chat, but I noticed that he was really stressed out. I see like he really put on some weight, and he looks like he really not taking care of himself. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go in there and say hello to him, and I don't want him to think that I'm hating on him, because I don't hate on anybody, you know, I don't. So I had to break the ice again. So I went in there, and I was in there today. You saw me. I was in there today. So you know, that's it. You know, we cool. James Farley was in there, and he saw me, and he probably did a double take when he saw my name in there. But we cool. You know, I don't have anything. I don't have even the people that talk in there. You know, the other guy says windbag radio and all the other stuff. You know what? It goes in one ear, it comes out the other ear. You know, you cannot engage with everybody that disagrees with you. You can't. It's just, you'll go crazy. So I just bite my tongue and just I stay in the radio related topic when I go there. That's it, you know, and that's it. That's their chat. That's it. Now here, you know, they know, because I said it. I express it here very well. You know, and by the way, I don't bash liberals in here. You know, I don't. They know that. There's a few people regular chat that they all voted. Some voted for Kamala, and that's fine. And I don't go off on them or anything. You know, that's who they thought. You know, whatever, and that's it. So Anyway, so yeah, life is too short to be, you know. So I went in there because I was worried about him. I know he's doing caretaking duties, and it looked like he's taking a ton. That's why I finally went there, Mike. So there you go. Elmer, two other people in my life are about to pass away. My last girlfriend is in hospice. My uncle's in the hospital with no chance of being brought out of forced medical coma because of that bad heart. I know you're going through a rough time. We're all gonna have rough times like that, man. You know, my rough year was 2012. And that's when I lost my mother. My wife lost her father within. My mother died in July. Her father died in August, like back to back. And then my brother died another year. A year and a half later, my brother died. And plus I was going through some financial shit. I couldn't even find a job anywhere. Court was coming down on me hard with family court shit and all that. I finally went and get help. I got help. I went and I think it was the best decision I made. I went to get professional help. I spoke to a psychologist, and then I was seeing. I would talk to they had a psychiatrist too. I was prescribed Prozac and lorazepam because I was very anxious and all that. I couldn't sleep. I had trouble sleeping. And I took the medication, I think, for about 6 months. And then I finally decided, let me close it. Oh, see, it popped up. It works. Are you still here? No, I'm going to close it. Let me close my FMDX web server. Good. Okay, it works. This is stuff that's going to happen, Let me tell you something. And when I got that help, 800-pound gorilla got off my off my back. There's no stigma. I know there's a stigma behind that. The stigma behind that where, if you go see professional help, you're crazy. No, I got help. And, I would see my therapist once a week, sit down and talk for an hour for about, I think it was about 4 months. And then, it was some hidden stuff, some, childhood trauma stuff that I was going through that kind of manifested itself. And it changed my life. Now I'm more optimistic. I'm not pessimistic anymore. Yeah, because so you always gonna have some. I don't want to say I'm painting a rosy picture or anything. No, not like that. But I definitely learned my coping mechanism is a lot better now. I could walk away now. I could walk away. Years ago, I used to actually go crazy and go off on. Now I actually could walk away from stuff, confrontation. My thing is, walk away, take a deep breath, all that stuff. Act like a duck, like how a duck comes out of water. What happens when a duck comes out of water, right? The water just rolls off his back. I had to become a duck, like a duck. The water rolls off your back. That's it. Unless stuff gets to you to the point where you're gonna act, or you're gonna do something that you're gonna regret, and that's what that changed. So Elmer, it's at some point you're gonna have to talk to a professional. I would encourage you to also, if it ever gets to that point. If it ever gets to that point where you need to talk to someone, professionally, I definitely would recommend that too. You know, I mean, I did that, and I have no shame in saying that. You know, I don't. It really and that was during that time. Like I said, I went through all that. My mother passed away. Her father passed away. A year and a half later, my brother passed away. Nothing was going right for me. Everything was like, wow. My relationship with my youngest daughter, you know, her mother was threatening me with like, oh, you're not gonna see her at all, and blah 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 blah. And she was driving me nuts. I had to get help. If I didn't get help, the next step was, you know, the unthinkable. So I had to get help. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad. Okay, I feel like I'm mentally strong this time. Okay. Yeah, you know, just, you know, we're here. We're here whenever you want to talk to us here. Exactly, Mike. Nobody's life come. Mike B, my life certainly did not come with an instruction manual. Nobody's life comes with an instruction manual. There is no instruction manual. You have to figure it out yourself, or or find people or whatever, run into people, whatever that can, or be around people that can help you. You know. I had to talk with my brother the other day because he you know, he's, even though he's a couple of years older than me, I'm the big brother out of the two of us, and I'm the youngest of 8. So I have to tell him these things. I have to tell him, listen, you know, as you get older, you know, because I guess he complains about holidays and all that. He's alone. I said, listen, as you get older, the fact of the reality is, there's gonna be less and less people in your life. You might live to be 100. People think that living 100 is a blessing. It's a blessing for you. It's a blessing. I mean, think about it. Living to be 100 is a blessing for you. But what do you think is going to happen when you live to be 100? That means you're going to lose you're going to lose probably nine out of 10 people you grew up with. If you're that person that lives to be 100, right? You know, I remember because I saw a movie a long time ago. It was about that. It was about somebody wanted to live up to, I think he wanted to live for like ever. And he did. He did live to be like, I don't know how many freaking centuries. Can't remember the movie. It was a long time ago. But the sad part about it was, yeah, okay, I'm going to give you this wish. You're going to live to be forever. But guess what? You're going to live in pain. Because everybody you got to love and spend spend time with, they're all going to die. They're all going to die. Because you're going to outlive all of them, right? And that's the reality of you know, if for anybody. I was telling him that you know, listen, you're 60. Think about all the people that we grew up in the Bronx, all the people that I grew up with in the street in the Bronx and all that. How many people are still here today? And you know, I was throwing names at him. This person died this year. This person died this year. This reason. You know, I knew people that died. I knew people I used to play sports with and hang out with and drink beer with. They didn't even make it to 30. They died in their 20s. One particular guy I know, he died in his 20s. We have the same name, Danny. His name was Danny. He was a funny guy, and he was a cool guy and everything. And, you know, like I said, one day he went partying. He was, you know, he died how? Car accident. Auto accident. Another guy I knew in his 20s. He went to prison. He died in prison. And this is many, many years ago now. This is when I was in my 20s. And I'm telling my brother all this. I'm saying, listen, you don't know. You know, it's like, you know, if you, you know, what I'm trying to say is, even if you live a long life, it could also be a curse. Because you might outlive everybody. If I live to be, imagine me live to be 100. That means I might outlive my children. You see what I'm saying? Outlive your spouse. You see, I know it's kind of deep thinking about it, but that's what I told him, because I think with him, he's going through that whole, because he turned 60. And I think ever since he turned 60, it's really fucking his head up. So I had to tell him, I said, listen, you know, you got to think about it that, okay, you know, so-and-so's not here no more, so-and-so's not here no more, but you're here. Since you're here, you need to make the best of your here type thing. That's what I'm trying to tell him. Because if you don't do that, you're doing a disservice to all the people that are not here. I guess that's what I was trying to tell him. You understand? I was telling him, the fact that you sitting here, and I told him, you know, because I kind of had to lay it on him. I said, the fact that you're sitting here, you go on Facebook and you complain about nobody loves you, nobody whatever. I said, no, you can't do that. I said, God already gave you a gift. He gave you one more day. God gave you one more day already. Every day I wake, every day I get out of bed, that's a gift. I'm 59 years old. I'm going to be 60 on the 19th. I mean, I'm 50. I'm going to be 59 on the 19th. I'm going to be 59. At this point in my life, every day is a gift. Every day is a gift for me. Every day should be a gift every day. But especially at this time in my life, beer chugging person like me, even though I don't smoke anymore, but you know, I still drink beer. That's not good for me long term. I don't exactly have a, you know, what do you call? My diet is not the greatest diet. But I told my brother, so listen, every day you get out of bed, that's a gift. That's a gift. That's it. You don't get a birthday party every year. Sorry, forget about that shit. You know, just be thankful that you're still here and you still have a good quality of life. That's another thing I had to emphasize on him. I said, you're not confined to, you know, a wheelchair or you don't have no major ailment, disease. You know what I'm saying? So I had to, you know, because that's how I think. My mindset is different from his. Even my wife argues with me about it. I said, no, honey. I said, no. Every day is a gift. When I wake up every day, the first thing I do is I do a little fist pump and I go, thank you, God. I do, yes, I'm still here. Because, you know, not that the sleep apnea thing is real with me. Even though I don't have a CPAP and all that, but I know one day I need to go see a neurologist about all that. One day, you know, I might not wake up out of that bed. So I kind of, you know, there's days that I really struggle to get out of bed. I'm very groggy and all that. And I'm like, okay, it was a rough night, but I'm good. Especially if I was drinking too many beers. But yeah, every day is a gift, bro. That whole thing about life is not being fair. Life is not fair. Life is not fair. I have many disappointments in my life, but I also have many great memories, you know, and that's what keeps you going, Elmer. Yeah, think about all the great memories you had, all the great memories you had with your children. The fact that you spend the child, they had a childhood. There's too many kids out there that don't even have a childhood. When I look at when I see those commercials like Shriners and the other one, St. Jude, and and I see those kids at 8 years old, they're or toddlers or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck, like they're not even gonna reach adulthood. You got to put things in perspective. You know, like she was 39, right? So she lived to 39. I'm not trying to make light of this. Please don't think that. But if you put things in perspective, she lived until 39. And, of course, like you said, she didn't have children. But I don't know, that was her choice or whatever. But she lived to 39. So, there's always something there that and when I mean that, I don't mean like when I say I want to say something good, I'm not making light of anything, please. You got to put that in perspective compared to, like, for example, I knew somebody that she lost her kid when he was 5. He was 5. She lost her son when he was 5. You see that? You see what I'm talking about? He was 5. Somebody, I was an online gamer and we used to chat and all that. And he told me, I said, no, I lost my son when he was 5. And I was like, wow, 5 years old. Was that first grade? Kindergarten, right? I mean, that's like beginning of life still. He just passed toddler. And she lost a son. And that was her only son. Only son. That was it. It's hard. It's even harder on a young child. So, I mean, if you can take anything out of anything, she lived till 39. Yeah, it's still relatively young for all, a lot of people, but you see these kids, you see kids, like that kid, what was his name? DJ, that kid that was in the, the honorary cop, kid has brain cancer. I think he just turned 12. He already had like double-digit surgeries and all that, multiple surgeries. And it's slim chance that he might live to be 18. Oh, sorry. I hope he lives to grow up, be an adult and all that. But DJ, the African American boy, remember Trump had the not the what they call that, not the State of the Union, but the recent one. That was his first speech with Congress. I forgot what they call that. And they made him honorary Secret Service. I think he was like 12 years old, fighting brain cancer. You know, that you know, that's shit is fucked up. You know, it's fucked up that he already has like, I don't know how many. I think he has like he had like 20 surgeries. I mean, it's crazy. So you know, it sucks. It sucks, Elmer. It sucks. But you know, take that into account that, you know, she lived 39 years. And you got to, you know, to spend 39 years. You got to spend 39 years where, and you know, I'm not minimizing, you know, any of that, but, you know, you have to, you know, you might have to think that way. You know, I mean, that's the first thing I thought about was, you know, if there's anything out of it is that she lived 39 years. And, you know, you got to spend 39 years. Because I look at my son now, he's 10. My son is 10. He's going to be 11. And, you know, my goal, because I'm an older parent, you know, you understand that he was born when I was already 50. I was over 50 when he was born. It's different with an older parent. My other two children I had, and I was young. But with my son now, I was over 50. I mean, no, you're now over 50. I was in my late 40s. Excuse me, late 40s. I was approaching 50. So people even told me, you're almost 50. Why would you want to have another child now? And I said, well, because my wife wants to have a child. And who am I to say no? So I cannot see myself, you know. I'm hoping that by the time my son graduates out of high school, I'm still here. In terms of, like, you know, for him, you know, only because I'm older, you know, I'm older, you know, I'm gonna be 59. So that's what I think about. I think about that, you know, that he's 10 and I'm gonna be 59. So by the time he turns 18, I'm hoping I can still be here. Or if I'm here, at least I'm, you know, healthy. So, yeah. Elmer Time, yes, it sucks for sure. I dealt with many family deaths already. It just seems that this time is large amount of death looms over my head. You know? I mean, you know, and you survived stroke. So you survived the stroke. So you might live to be 100. You might live to be 100, bro. You might be one of those people that might live to be 100. And, you know, it's just a natural, I hate to say it, it's a natural, you know, thing about life. You know, you might outlive a lot of people and you're going to, you know, like I told my brother a couple of days ago, I say, yeah, Harry, you might live to be 100. You might outlive all of us, including me. You might have to bury me. So you're gonna have to go through that, you know. No words can describe what you're going through. But I'm here for you, bro. I'm here for you. If you want to talk, you got my email. If you want to talk, we could talk on the phone if you want, bro. My email is on my channel page. It's on my channel, Danny Radio and Tech. Yeah, so there you go. See, stroke, coma, and brain surgery all in one package. So you're surviving right now, bro. You're like the You cheated death. You know? You cheated death. And that's the thing. It's you might bring up that question why life is not fair, why this person had to go, and I should have went before this person goes, and we don't, there's no answer to that, bro. You can't predict who's gonna go, who's not. I mean, I already told you what happened to us September 11th. I told my son a couple of days ago about what happened. I finally told him. I told you guys what happened. September 11th, 2001. My wife got laid off 2 months before September 11th. My wife got laid off 2 months before September 11th. She was working for this company called Deja.com. She was a coder. She was an HTML coder. I was supposed to work there too. In fact, I had 2 jobs lined up for the World Trade Center. It was that job. I could have been working with my wife. Or I had another job that I did a very good interview. I came this close to being a webmaster for IGEA.com, which was on the 86th floor of the North Tower. I didn't get the job. And this is a few months before 9/11. I didn't get the job. And that job was had I gotten that job, it was probably the biggest job I would have had in terms of tech. I mean, we're talking about 60,000 plus a year salary, head webmaster of a major website, of a website that's all over TV. IGEA.com was the as seen on TV. It was all over commercials and all that. It was the Epilady, the shaving device for women. I was gonna run the website, the whole fucking website. I was gonna run. I thought that would have been a big step career-wise for me. I didn't get the job. The last minute, they gave it to somebody within the company. My wife got laid off right before, I think it was after or before Memorial Day 2001. Early summer. I know it was early summer. She got laid off. Then 9/11 happened. As soon as the first tower went down and all that, I cheated death. My wife cheated death. We both cheated death. We both should have been in those buildings. And God had a plan for us. I still don't know what the plan is. I mean, part of it is my son. That was the biggest job I would have had at that time for a major website. I mean, we're talking about that job would have led to another job. But then again, I would have been in that building that morning. And remember, the office is at the 86th floor. 86th floor. I've been in that building many times. I used to pick my wife from work all the time in that building, those buildings. We used to go down to the lower level and eat lunch, have dinner. So, so if my wife would have never lost her job, and I would have got hired, we both would have been in those buildings when the planes hit. By the way, that was another reason why I had the depression. I went through my depression because of that. That was one of my what do they call it? They told me I was living with survivor's guilt. It was like some Final Destination shit that happened to us. We wasn't in those buildings when this shit happened. So all these years, man, especially right after that happened, I was like, it was surreal. Like, you don't know, bro. You don't. It's weird. It's surreal when you think, oh shit, I should have been in that building on the 86th floor, and my wife, I think, was working on the 82nd floor, and she got fucking laid off, and I didn't get hired. I was like, yo, after that day, I was like, that was like a new birthday. Yeah, it was. It was kind of that, you know, and we talk about it every September 11th. Me and her, we just sit down and say, you know, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. So I finally spoke to my son about it, and I said, you know, and my son looked at me and said, yeah. I said, yeah, that's why, you know, I'm gonna talk to you now about it because I get emotional when I talk about that shit, bro. I get emotional. I was 2 days ago. I was emotional all day because that shit is, you know. I knew a few people that were there. I knew a few. My wife knew a few. In fact, the company that didn't hire me never came back. They got wiped out, including the guy that was gonna hire me. He was one of the victims. My wife's company was the opposite. I think half of the people didn't show up because they used to go in late. Maybe that's what happened too. Because I think her working, I think from like 10 in the morning. That's one other thing. What happened to a lot of people was saved 9/11. A lot of people, that was after a Sunday night football game. Was it Monday night? Anyway, I heard that was under a lot of people did not. It was something to do with the football game, with the Giants game. That a lot of people went in late. A lot of people were gonna go in late. I think it was opening. Oh yeah, it was opening night or something for the Giants. I think they were playing the Broncos or something. And some people decided to go in late because, you know, they were watching football, and then, of course, you know, they go out to drink and all that, and they call and work late. So they said because of that one game, a lot of people went in late. By the way, that was my day off for another company. By the way, I was working for another company by then, and that was my day off for that thing. And yeah, it was a football game. It was the Giants versus the Broncos. It was a late night game. It was because of that might have saved another few thousand people because of one football game. One football game. It's crazy. It's crazy how it turned out that if they would have slammed those planes at midday or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there would have been a lot more people dead. But they did it too early. I mean, think about that. 8 o'clock in the morning was too early. In fact, the planes hit before 8 o'clock, right? It was like 8 o'clock. Yeah, around 8 o'clock or so. Well, I forgot the time exactly. But they would say it was too early. That is, you know, had the planes would have hit like 10 o'clock in the morning, even 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or lunch, or right around that time, there would have been more people in the office, and there would have been more casualties. We're talking about like 3 times more casualties. I mean, it's fucking bizarro the way that shit happened. I mean, sorry, PG rating out the window, but yeah. So yeah, Elmer time. The brain surgeon said I cheated death. Yeah, you cheated death. I know. I'm telling you, that job I would have had was a great job. It would have been a great job because I was already going through the disappointment of IBM not hiring me. You got to remember, this is a time I was already getting depressed because I was already like, I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a tech job anywhere. I just had an interview with IBM that didn't hire me. I was like, okay, well. And then this other company calls me and they say, oh, we want you to come down here and interview. Excuse me. So I go down to the World Trade Center. I go to the 86th floor. I see the office. And of course, I'm up there. It's a big office. And I'm like, man, it'd be nice to work up here. It was a nice view. But thinking back in hindsight now, thank God I didn't get the job. Because I wouldn't be here. I don't think I'll be here. I wouldn't be here. I would not be here. You know, did I ever came close to making that type of money again? No, never came close to making any type of money like that. You know, in other words, God had a plan for me. I know some people say, I don't talk politics and religion. I'm going to talk about it here. God must have a plan for me. I don't know, still don't know what it. I think part of it is, I think Sanjay is a part of it, obviously. Sanjay is a big part of it. I said, no. You're not going anywhere. Back then, she was my girlfriend. My wife was back then we weren't engaged. She was my girlfriend. I think we were just seeing each other for a year. At that time, my wife, it was a year into our relationship. I said, no. You're going to eventually get married and you're going to start a family. And that's what happened. That would have never happened, you know, and God had a plan, whatever reason. And he's not done yet. He's not done with whatever plan he has for us. So one door closes, another door opens. You know, it's a chapter. Like one chapter closes and a new chapter. And you have to begin a new chapter. So yeah. And I said it, man. I'm going to use this forum to reach out to as many people as I can. Yeah. Do I have 100 people watching me? No, I don't care. Right now, I'm talking to you, Elmer. I'm talking to you, my friend. I don't care, you know. I'm here for you, bro. I'm here for you. My emails and my when you go to my main tab is there. You want to email me and send me your number. We'll talk. Anytime you can call me up. You know. You guys been there for me, bro. I want to be there for you. I'm there for you. Yeah, Mike B. Yeah, we were all one united country after 9/11. Look at us now. Exactly. People just soon forget. Exactly. It's crazy. I know, right? Remember after 9/11, everybody was cheering for the police and fire department. They were like, woo, you know, honking their horns and all that. And now we have all this anti-law enforcement and all this nonsense. Defund the police. Now we're more divided. You know, now we're more divided. It's crazy. Now there's no more discourse. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. We can debate it. That's fine, bro. You bring your points to argue, and you bring your points. I bring my counterpoints, and we could agree, disagree, and that's it. You're not supposed to agree with everything people say. Nobody agrees with everything people say. And by the way, we're allowed to change. When I was young, there were some things I believed in when I was young. I don't believe in it now. I changed. We're allowed to change. Thank you, RT08. Thank you for the super chat. You know, it's okay to, you're not supposed to anyway. You're not supposed to agree with every single thing. And that's the problem we have. You know, we condition a whole generation that if you can't agree with them, you're evil. And that's what happened with this thing, this assassination. Because one 22-year-old kid don't agree with him. And, you know, because of, you know, the news and all that throws that thing out. Oh, like people like me. According to the media, I'm a Nazi. I'm a nationalist. You wouldn't know that by talking to me. You wouldn't know that. But that's what the media portrays me as. I'm a threat to you guys. I'm a threat to democracy, bro. That's what they call people like me. I'm a threat to democracy. I mean, it's crazy. That means I'm going to get a bullet in my head one day too? A bullet in my neck or whatever? Come on, man. Yeah, of course we've fallen, Mike. We've fallen. We used to be a united country after 9/11. Look at us now. Of course, it's awful what we are now. On both sides, but my God, like, you know, it's fucking sad, bro. That's why I was depressed, man. I was down for a couple of days. And when they caught him, because there was a possibility they wasn't gonna catch him, but then finally, you know, right away they got leads and all that. They saw the pictures of video footage and all that. And let me tell you something, bro. That shit lifted my spirits, bro, that they caught the fucking guy. And they caught him. And all those people that are celebrating that shit, you're just fucking evil. You're fucking evil for celebrating anybody's fucking death like that. You know? That's just fucking disgusting. Fucking sick, man. I hate to fucking say it like that. Like, PG rating out the window, but you know that. But at least yesterday was a good day when they finally announced it that he got caught, and he's you know. And I wasn't surprised when I saw the profile. You know, he was. Yeah, his dad turned him in. He was his dad. And they can't blame the parents for that, because the parents are conservative. Dad was a retired sheriff. So I think the kid didn't want to turn himself in. He was talking about, I'd rather be dead than turn myself in, and his dad said no. I think he referred him to a pastor, and then the pastor had to talk with him, and then he finally you know, told the marshals to come and get him. You know? So there was no fucked up upbringing with this kid. It was not like he was from the ghetto. The kid had a privileged life. He had a privileged life. 6-bedroom apartment. The kid had a $35,000 scholarship he just got. The kid was going to electrician school. He was learning to be an electrician. But he let one opinion eat him up. One opinion. One opinion. You know, opinions. Opinions are like fucking assholes. There's no two. I hate to say that. There's no two alike. Everybody has an opinion. You're supposed to have an opinion. If you all were to think the same way, then this is not the country to be in. I'm sorry, this is not the country to be in. If you're all going to think the same way, you're not supposed to think the same way. It's fucking crazy, yo. Yeah. Let me read over here. Yeah. I know I went off on a tangent about we all united country after 9. Look at us now. I know I went off on a tangent, but we are. We're not a united country anymore, unfortunately. RT08, did you see the new doors that are putting up and when pilot's door is open during flight? Yeah, I think they're like reinforced doors or something like that. Some reinforced helmet time. I still carry a patriotic soul for this country before 9/11 and after. Yeah, same here. You know, it's like when my son is old enough, when my son is old enough, my wife doesn't agree with me, but when my son ever tells me, Dad, I want to join the military, I'm going to say, hell yeah. I'm going to, not going to say no to him. Son, Dad, I want to become a police officer. Hell yeah. I mean, especially if he wants to do it. My wife is not going to do that. She's going to try to discourage him. I mean, rightfully so in that order too, but me, my son, no. How much time? I didn't see the pilot door thing. Yeah, it's like I'm trying to remember. I saw it not too long ago. Yeah, I saw something like that. Elmer time, the first plane hit. As I was getting ready to leave for work in the morning Pacific time. Okay, wow, that was early then. RT0, my mom called me at home, McKinney, Texas. At the time, I was off work that day. Yeah. My company communications equipment was on top of the World Trade Center. Yeah, and that was another thing that was crazy about it. That I remember having my cell phone. At that time, it was a flip phone. It was I still have it in one of my boxes. I still have my phone, my original, all my old phones. I have all these years I kept my old phones. I have them in a box. And I remember you couldn't get through anywhere. All communication was we just forever. I think I was getting forever busy signal or something. I forgot. Or there was no. I think there was just no signal. But I remember all phone service was gone. It was very, especially when once the towers came down. That was it. There was no at that time. And then of course in New York City they shut off all the transit and bus service, I believe. So people were walking home. My ex at that time, from my daughter, I remember she had to walk from Manhattan all the way to the Bronx back to the house. People were walking because they shut off all because there was threats that they were going to put bombs on the subway and all that. So everything was shut down. Of course, they shut down all the air traffic for a couple of days or something. If I remember, it was a couple of days. Yeah. Elmer Tom, you're a true American. Yeah, thank you. But No, it's crazy. Yeah, his dad turned him in. I mean, his dad was a retired sheriff. I mean, what is he gonna do? He's gonna no. Imagine that. The hardest thing to do is turning your own son. But you gotta see that's an upstanding person. He's a moral person. Guy has a lot of moral. I believe he's also religious. I believe he's there. I believe he's a Christian also. And he said, "Son or no son, you did the unthinkable." Um, you know, I mean, imagine that. I mean, hopefully, I will never have to make that decision. But it's I know when I first heard about that, I was like, wow. I thought about that. I was like, man, that's like, you know, wow. Anyway, I've been on for 3 hours. Of course, I was planning to be on for a couple hours, but 3 hours, and I'm gonna sign off now. It's midnight, actually. Wow, it's midnight here in the Yonkers, 12:05. I didn't think it was midnight. Wow, I thought it was I thought it was an hour earlier or something. I lost track of time. And Elmer time, like I said, email me, give me my number. We can talk if you want. My number's at your disposal. You can call me if you need to talk. And we're all here for you. We're one big, we're for family here too, you know. I know we're last, but we're here for you. I will do another live stream soon. I just haven't planned them out anymore because I've been very busy. But you know, I've definitely already took my break, so I may be back on tomorrow. I don't know, depends. Tomorrow night or tomorrow or not Monday or something. I should be back. So take care, everybody. Have a good night, everybody. And take care, my friend Elmer. Take care. And I'll see you guys soon. All right. So take care of yourself. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Bye. Take care.